Okay, so basically, in the spirit of in the Pan African spirit for Africa Day, once again, happy Africa Day, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in live. If you on the live, please remember to like, subscribe, join us on YouTube. Check out our other channels, and then spread the word. So basically, what we know now is that it's many Africans in the diaspora as it is Africans on the continent. So we really have as many Africans in the entire diaspora. And if you don't know what the diaspora is, the African diaspora is people of African descent that's outside of the mainland of African continent. So if you don't live on the African continent, but you find yourself with black skin, even if you don't know your history or whatever the case may be, even if you claim to be of Moorish descendancy or you claim to be a Aboriginal, you still migrated from a particular land before you came to this continent or whatever the case may be. You may have done it before everyone else if you claim to be Aboriginal or whatever the case may be, or if you claim to be a Moor that was a original inhabitant, okay. But everybody comes from the diaspora, so we all are part of a great group, a great race, should I say. So we are part of a race, and we call this the diaspora. So you are either African American, African Caribbean, African European, African whatever the case may be, but you are African. So that's why we of African descent, we celebrate Africa Day. And in the Pan-African spirit, that Pan-Africanism means basically people of like-minded consciousness that we all serve the diaspora as one body of citizenry, just like you would in America, just like you would in the UK or Europe or whatever the case may be. You rep your flag. Us in the diaspora, we represent our culture. We are diasporans of the people of the African diaspora. So we might not necessarily represent a flag to a particular land, Europe, America, Caribbean island, whatever the case may be, but we all share one unique thing about us, and that we all come from the African diaspora. So enough of that. The 6 important points that we want to talk about is the first point is as many of us in the diaspora as it is people in the entire African continent. So we need to embrace who we are as people, and we need to collectively start doing business in that manner. So that's one thing that Black Business Matters is about. We are about connecting the diaspora to the people on the continent, and the brothers and sisters on the continent to the brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and actually having fair trade in every type of business practice that we need to do. As people, we can do it without the help of government or without the help of any of the traditional things that we've been looking for. So Black Business Matters is your number one source to actually connect you to the diaspora, to connect African Americans to the diaspora and everybody of African descendancy to opportunities right in Africa. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of partners that are already in Africa, been in Africa for some while. We just got off the live podcast with the Sankofa Repatriation Project, and we had heard some points from Wody Maya, Arkady, Umar Johnson, a lot of other people that was on it. So we are in solidarity with everything that they're trying to do. So it's not one organization that can handle all the work. So we all have to come together, and we have to, really make Black Business Matters. So in the spirit of Black Business Matters, we want to talk about the power that we have in the diaspora. So if it's as many of us in the diaspora as it is the people on the continent, what type of power that does it represent? How much, if anyone has a number value of that, like what is it, the number value that you think that's worth? Is it a $1 trillion economy, a $3 trillion economy? What could the trade look like? So an African diaspora that's organized, when you come to Black Business Matters or join our tribe in Black Business Matters, what we're going to do is tap you into an organized race of people that already exist, that the world really don't want you to know about and don't want you to connect with. So we represent a GDP that will represent up there with any of the other countries out there, any of the other developing countries, if you actually add it up. So we're going to do another podcast. We actually talk about the GDP of the African diaspora, and we start to talk about what would that represent if we embrace that, if we took control of that, and we started to make the necessary moves across the diaspora to make sure that our voice was heard, that our business was recognized, and our business matters amongst us first and foremost, and that the world recognizes that our business matters. What would that take? Something like free trade between individuals in the diaspora and the actual country that you may be in. So we don't have to wait in the diaspora for America to give us a trade agreement with Ghana, or for Ghana to come up with a trade agreement with Gambia, or whatever the case may be. The people in the diaspora can act on our own behalf, on our own best benefit. So we don't have to wait for that. And so the next point is that we've got to safeguard the future and the legacy of the future generations. Like, we have to safeguard their legacy. So we actually, people in the diaspora today in 2020, we grow up in a diaspora that's basically our future is really not that secure. Our future is not guaranteed. I mean, we have a history of being oppressed by the powers that be, by the governments, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to safeguard a future for our future generations, for our kids, for our grandkids, for our grandkids' kids, right? In order to do that, we're going to have to do what? This is the third point. We're going to have to develop and re-educate ourselves with the new skills of tomorrow. If you look at China 40 years ago, was a desperate, broken country. They just came out of colonialism. They was colonized by the British for years. The British took Hong Kong and Beijing and every other city that you know about. That was where they was trading at. They had opium wars and things like that. So in a 40 to 50 year period, this country has risen to be the number one economy in the world. This country has come to grow to be the number one manufacturing base in the world. If you want something made, you will have to go there to get it done. Or it'll probably be hard for you to get it done in your own country because it's expensive. So what we have to do is we have to make history in the same way that other countries have done it. We have to climb out of, a situation of depression and get into the real world and actually start to not care about what we hear from the Western media, not care about what you hear from the Jewish-controlled media. We really don't care about what people that's not in the diaspora, that don't really care about the diaspora or who they are, really, in their opinions. Because at this point, we have to what? We have to safeguard the future of our future generations, of our kids' kids, of our kids' kids. So it's real. So in order to do that, we have to get re-educated. We have to learn about blockchain technology. We have to learn about AI. We have to learn about e-commerce. We have to learn about the technology, fintech, biotech, everything like that. Because when people speak of medicine, in the real world, we call that biotech. That's biotech. Anytime you're dealing with natural medicine, they don't call it natural medicine. They call it biotech when you're dealing with pharmacies and things like that. So we are actually at the forefront of biotech, and we've been at the forefront of biotech for thousands of years, right? So what we have to do is embrace our traditional knowledge sets and skills and then bring them into the 21st century, into the new age that we in, right? And so that requires us to re-educate ourselves, get new skills, the skills of the future. We have to get strong in business, first and foremost, strong in business, strong in real estate, technology, and other areas that's going to be, it's going to be important. Because if you don't have a place, like, for example, we in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of people here homeless, that's landless. And where do you start when you don't have a piece of land? When you're renting, when you're making the rich, and then you want to get out of this cycle, the first thing you have to do is re-educate yourself. How did you get to the point where you consume everything and produce nothing? So the point is, that is business. Black Business Matters is to teach you to be a doer. We not whiners, we are grinders. So if you about grinding, that's what Black Business Matters is about. We're going to actually learn the new skills. We're going to actually put the new things in place that actually make this sense. So we have to learn about business structuring. After the COVID, if you had a small business, you know firsthand that you don't have any advantages no more than someone that was self-employed. So if you had a small business before COVID, you shut down your business just like everybody else. You lost your job like everybody else. So the small business myth is what we're trying to get the people in the diaspora to understand. We don't have to go into that struggle and try to work our way out that struggle. What we have to do is learn the new rules of business. So the businesses that survived today during COVID were what? Franchises, corporations that I can show you a standard operating procedure of how I'm going to do things. It's not about, it's my shop. I've been here 50 years. We got the love from the community. We've been making money. No, that's not enough going forward. You have to have a systematic business that's strong enough to go through the economic challenges. You have to have a franchise corporation, or you have to have a corporation. Like when you see the businesses that's open, Curry House was closed. Small business mom and pop restaurants were closed, right? But the franchises remained open. Chick-fil-A didn't close. McDonald's didn't close. 7-Eleven didn't close. Why? Because they have corporate businesses that have a standard operating procedure, training manuals, operational manuals. They don't. The owner of 7-Eleven doesn't have to show up to 7-Eleven to get the work done, right? That's the type of age we living in now. The days where the milkman will come deliver milk to your doorstep in the morning is over. You have big corporations that monopolize milk right now, right? In every other industry that you can think of. So we have to teach our people in the diaspora to evolve their business practices to the point where we know the new rules of business. We're not going to set up a mom and pop or sole proprietorship. We will set up a corporation with what? Subsidiaries up under it, right? So when you do that, you protect yourself. You're not the one, you won't be Nipsey Hussle or the one that's getting shot in front of the business, because you won't be there. You have people and systems running your business. And that's what people in Africa have the opportunity to embrace right now. We going from having no internet connection, no phones, no computers in every household, to having a cell phone, a mobile phone in everyone's hand, where everybody can leapfrog all of those, laptop issues and desktop issues that we had to deal with in Europe and the States and stuff like that, right? And everybody got a mobile phone where they can easily tap into what we doing and what everybody else is doing. And they can do it on the go. So that's the age that we living in. So we don't want to run away from globalism. We want to embrace it, because anything that we get into as people, we know in the diaspora, especially those from America and Europe, anything we get into, we dominate. If they just give us if we let us get our foot in the door, it's over. I don't care if it's sports. I don't care what it is. We end up breaking records. Like Babe Ruth had a record in baseball here in America. But then some guy named Barry Bonds came out the blue and knocked that out the park easily, right? And now, so you see the type of stress he had to go through, court and everything like that, steroids and everything. So we break records no matter what we get into. So at the end of the day, when we re-educate ourselves with the proper rules and the proper knowledge of business, we will be at the forefront of technology, blockchain technology, fintech, anything you can think of. These are the new emerging, things. So right here, Black Business Matters, I'm a blockchain technology specialist myself. So we will be able to tap into other resources in the same places where I got my information from, and other places like where you can learn blockchain technology, create your own token, tokenize your own economy, tokenize your own company. So when you see the new companies today, we don't have stock. We're not pressed to put out stock. We pressed to put out a digital token and create an initial coin offering to raise our money. We don't have to go knock on the doors of the lenders and the big Silicon Valley investors no more. Those days are over. So one thing that COVID did was it released it. It's like the end of the Civil War. When the Civil War ended, they went to everybody's plantation and say, "Hey, man, open the gates." And the people that wasn't educated just sat there and said, "Damn, what I'm gonna do now? I don't got nowhere to go. I don't have anywhere to go. Like I don't know what to do until somebody tells me." And the people that was ready for this, and the people that was ready for that, I say ready for that at that time, they was ready to kick it, take their bags and run. Because this is the only time you can probably run around without a pass, without someone saying, "Hey, where your pass at? Who you belong to? Why you out here? Why you doing you?" It was expected to see black people going about their daily routine trying to make a living for themselves. That's what slavery basically meant. People are fools if you sit around and say Lincoln ended slavery. Slavery just transitioned to the criminal justice system and politics. So if you are so caught up in politics, I feel sorry for you, because the chances of being re-educated and stepping into the future is probably slim, because you will have to get into business in order to dominate politics. That's what people know. Look at your president. Look at Donald Trump. The number one businessman, and then he became the number one politician. He bought and sold politicians, I'm pretty sure, throughout his whole career. And now when he's coming in, you wonder why he's not listening to you guys, what you guys got to say, because he doesn't care. He knows that politics is controlled by what? Money. Capitalist, a capitalistic country. So what you do as a business owner, you go find a politician that you want to represent your agenda. And if you don't find them, then guess what? You don't vote for them. You see, you only vote when you invest. See, when the big businessmen come together and they invest into a politician, they expect this politician to come back with some return on investment. That means a campaign promise that you said you was going to do. We put that money into your campaign. We expect you to carry out that promise, right? Now, black people can't do that as a whole because we don't have black business. So black business matters for the reason, if you just want to make your politics matter, you have to have a black business. You have to control the black dollar. You have to recognize that it's a black economy that's not American-wide, that's not European-wide, that's not throughout the Caribbean, but it's worldwide. It's worldwide. The diaspora is more people in the diaspora, or just as many people in the diaspora as it is on the African continent. So what did that tell you? That tells you that we have the power in our own hands. We have to unite. We have to learn to re-educate ourselves. We have to get rid of status quo education and status quo, definitions and things like that. And we have to move into the future. The fourth thing is that the diaspora, we have to capitalize on this black economy with a black dollar. Now, like I was just saying, the black dollar is something that's going to be digital. It's not going to be a paperback currency with Kwame Nkrumah's picture posted on it, okay? Those days are over where you had your king that ruled over your land, put his stamp and his family on your money, and you circulate it and you think you're going to empower yourself. So the black dollar is a digital currency that we actually created. So Black Business Matters actually has a currency, a digital currency that we can all get involved with. So understand, when you start hearing the black dollar, that's an actual currency that you can actually trade. Just like, and you can use Ethereum, you can use Bitcoin, you can use Litecoin, you can use Dogecoin, whatever you need to buy the black dollar with, or you can use your US dollar or your fiat currency that you get from your government. You can use that to buy the black dollar. And your black dollar will have value. It'll represent value within the black economy, you see? So the black economy is kind of getting to the point where we're evolving, where we have a black dollar, and it's digital. And you have a phone, and you have a digital wallet, and you can trade money throughout the diaspora without any fees. We don't go through Western Union anymore. We don't go through these places, the banks that get paid off of everything that we do. We go to Black Business Matters and we purchase a black dollar, and we trade and send our money through free of charge. You see? And this is what the cryptocurrency and blockchain technology allows us to do. It allows us to free ourselves up. No longer do you have to keep complaining about inflation, complaining about the dollar. If you don't like the dollar that you're using, don't use it. But at the end of the day, we have to have the new rules of money and the new rules of education in order that we are firmly grounded in blockchain technology, that we can create our own token and then the economic system behind it. So with Black Business Matters, we're going to teach all you business owners that want to learn how to create your own token. We're going to teach you how to do that. It's not hard. But what is the hard part, the dollar doesn't mean any currency doesn't mean anything. A dollar doesn't mean anything. A Dalasi doesn't mean anything. A CD doesn't mean anything. But what it means is that people accept it and they trade it amongst each other. So people have confidence in that. You see? So what we have to do, anything can be used. And we know this as African people. We was on the bartering system for thousands of years before any type of currency came out. So what we have to do is we have to go back and we have to understand that with a black dollar, I can get, two things. With American dollar, I can get one thing. It's just that simple. You might not know anything else about cryptocurrency or digital currency or the black dollar, anything else, but just know you can get more value with your black dollar than you can with that European dollar. And we're going to show you that in so many ways. When you spend that black dollar, you will get 50% to 80% more than you would get with your fiat currency, that you would get with your credit card. It's just that simple. And that's the power of the black dollar. So it is a currency out here, a black dollar that we control, that we have to circulate amongst ourselves. It's a digital currency, and this black dollar is something that we have to use to distinguish ourselves. Just like people use the American dollar to distinguish themselves when people use the peso, and people use the Dalasi to distinguish themselves from people who use the CD. We're going to distinguish ourselves from people who are in the diaspora and people who are financially hip. We're going to be using the black dollar. And we're going to be championing the black economy going forward. And so you'll hear more about the black dollar and how you can get a wallet, a digital wallet to trade your dollars and transfer your dollars and store your dollars in. And you will hear more about that in the future. But going forward, a medical system that's based on, traditional African medicine, that's based on traditional natural medicine, that's based on any type of medicine that's plant-based, chemical-free. And so we have a lot of different schools of thoughts when they come to that. Every country you go to, you see medical healers in Madagascar, medical healers in Uganda, medical healers in every African country you go to. We want to unite these schools of thoughts and get some of these practices streamlined that we can kind of like use as opposed to the Western medicine that they give us. And we all know the dangers, like Dr. Umar Johnson spoke, he spoke eloquently on the topic of them using health as a weapon, weaponized health. And him himself, as being in the health industry, can speak even more on it, what they do with their kids and throughout the diaspora. So what he's talking about is problems that we deal with throughout the diaspora and on the continent itself. So this re-education, what I'm saying is this message is going to people through the diaspora. Don't think for 1 second this is just a local message, because we right here in Washington, D.C., don't think that this message is for you guys here in Washington or in America. This is for the whole diaspora. So the things that I'm going to be mentioning are a little bit broader than, the local stuff that we kind of like used to kick. So at the end of the day, we talking about the solutions. We don't whine, we grind on this platform. We don't whine at all, we grind. Every complaint is an opportunity. That's how we look at it. So with Black Business Matters going forward, if you really believe in Black Business Matters, we need you to get at us on blackbusinessmatters@gmail.com. Black Business Matters 2018 at gmail.com. Let us know you want to be part of the things. Let us know you want to join the tribe. Let us know that you support what we're doing. We got a Patreon page coming up soon. We're not really asking for donations right now, but in the short future, we will be asking for donations. We're going to need your money, and we're going to need to circulate our money amongst each other, and that's the only way things are really going to happen. And so if you're one of those that don't want to invest and don't want to start a business or anything, you probably don't need to be involved with anything that we're doing. But if you are one of those people that know it's been past time for you to have your own business, or for you to restructure your business, or to get re-educated so you can do business in a better way, so you can safeguard the future, safeguard the futures of your future generations, of your kids, and etc. If you're looking for the re-education and the things that we need, and if you want to get involved in the black economy, be one of the first people to embrace the black dollar and spread this black dollar globally, and spend the black dollar and be in control of your own black dollar. If you want to be one of those, then you need to join Black Business Matters and help spread the word. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. We got tours and travels that's going to be kicking off as soon as we get out of lockdown here. I know the brothers and sisters back home, I know y'all got the ability to do more, but right here in DC, we on lockdown. We can't even get simple things done. We can't travel. No passports. They're not even giving out passports. People that's trying to get out of here can't go nowhere. We already literally on lockdown. If you don't have a boat and you can't get past that Coast Guard, you short. You still got to get past the Coast Guard. So at the end of the day, we really on lockdown here in America. And so there's some of the things that Black Business Matters are going to, before we end it, just to give a brief update, some of the things that we're going to be doing with Black Business Matters are we actually building schools, both here, throughout the diaspora, and back home on the continent. Schools, natural pharmacies, natural hospitals where natural medicine, hospitals where natural medicine will actually be practiced at. We want to build these safe spaces. We want to build these natural pharmacies in every village, every community that will invite us, every place, every community in the United States across the diaspora that will invite us. We will show you how to establish a natural pharmacy. We actually still show you how to be food sufficient, where we dealing with aquaponics and bringing the actual fisheries to the communities. Like, we have to, think outside of the box. We have aquaponics, we have greenhouses. We can take care of ourselves. We just had to be re-educated. We just had to tap into our own unique, capabilities in which we have. And then the Beyond Universities. So the Beyond Universities and the FinTech Hub and the Economic Hub, whatever, if you know a chief, if you know someone who has land and they want to develop on it, then we have a Black Business Matters Fund that we actually are getting under the process of structuring right now, where we can take the dollars from the diaspora, where we can take the dollars from people who want to invest, and we can invest into the projects, the land projects, where we will be building these schools, hospitals, pharmacies, etc., economic hubs, everything like that. And we have building technology that would significantly reduce the amount that it would cost. Like, for example, someone says in America, you want to build a hospital? That's wow. That's a lot of money, brother. Da 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 da. You see, they automatically come with that type of mindset because of, everything costs so much and everything is only for, the quote unquote specialists. You have a construction company. People don't know that in 2020. And you look at countries like India, you look across Africa, you look across China. How you think China built that hospital in 3 days? They built the whole hospital, a building, not no tent. When you listen to America, they say, we set up a hospital for COVID. It's a tent. It's basically a tent. You know what I mean? They don't have the technology here to build a building, a skyscraper in 20 or 30 days. They do that over in Asia. If you look at Dubai, look at where the tallest building in the world is at. In an Islamic country, in Dubai, right? Go look at them buildings and look how Dubai looked 20 years ago, and look at Dubai now. We had those. Look at what Aliko Dangote is doing in Nigeria. Look at how quick they have recovered that land and built the island of Atlantis. The technology is there. It's not here. The technology is ready to be put to use in the developing world. But so we have the ability to develop a hospital quick in 30 days or less. We had the ability to produce housing, affordable housing. So we want to be producing all these different projects, and we want you to join us on Black Business Matters. We want you to join us across the diaspora. We know that so many of you powerful entrepreneurs have products and services and agendas that need to be put forth. We want you to come on our platform, and we want you to tell the diaspora what you're doing and why they should get involved. That's what we do here at Black Business Matters. It's not about me. You may see me on the live and doing the talking, but at the end of the day, we're actually looking for someone who can be the spokesperson for Black Business Matters, so you won't even have to see me doing the talking. I can do more working on the project than working in the project so much. You see? So we're trying to find the right people with the right roles or the right goals. You can reach out to us at Black Business Matters 2018 at gmail.com. If you want to volunteer, you want to upload and submit your content to us so we can redistribute it, you want to get on for an interview, you want to get your products and services out there to the diaspora, please join us at Black Business Matters 2018 at gmail.com. So join us. Let us know. Give us some feedback. If you got any pointers, any tips, how we should do things. If you want to even volunteer, we are open. We want as many volunteers to come on board. If you're a youth that need community service hours for your school or anything like that, you want to join the noble cause, this is the perfect thing to do, is join Black Business Matters. You can join Black Business Matters at Black Business Matters 2018 at gmail.com. Say I want to volunteer. Say this is my content I want to get out. If you shoot videos, if you have a company, we want to get you out there. It's not about the money. It's not about none of that. It's about us working together, coming together, and all boats rising with the same tide. And so those are the 6 points that we wanted to talk about. We had just as many, number one, we had just as many people in the diaspora as it is on the continent. Number two, we have to safeguard the legacies of our future generations. Number three is that we have to re-educate ourselves with the new skills of the future, such as tech, business, real estate, etc. Number four, that the Black diaspora actually has a black dollar, and that you need to get involved into the new economy of this Black diaspora and circulate this black dollar. And actually you can use the black dollar to send remittances, like money that you want to send back to your home country. You can send it free of charge. You don't need an ID to send it. You don't need nobody in your business. And it's 100% legal, and the technology is there. It's called blockchain technology. We have a black dollar. You can actually send your currency worldwide free of charge without paying the 10%. So we have a medical system that we need to promote, and we all have it in every African country. It's called traditional African medicine, and the people of the diaspora need to embrace that. And the last point is that when you partner and when you donate, when you invest with Black Business Matters, we're using that money to create schools, hospitals, pharmacies, economic hubs, and actually universities and things like that across the diaspora, across the continent, across America, across Europe. So we are serving the diaspora, and we really, really appreciate everyone who celebrates Africa Day and knows the importance of Africa Day and knows the importance of the diaspora and who we are as a people. And that's not just out there faking and not just trying to ride the wave. Some people we got that's just trying to ride the wave. And that's one of the points I want to say. You had people back in the day, like that was like during Marcus Garvey's time, that was really about black empowerment. They was really going to Africa. You know, when you see people like Marcus Garvey, he really had a shipping company. He really had multiple enterprises that was like, if you can see a black African American in 2020 that owns like a shipping company like Carnival Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean, whatever, we'd be amazed, man. We would be amazed. But you know, back almost 100 years ago, we had black people that was doing that. Marcus Garvey was that man who had the Black Star Cruise Line. He had the Black Star Cruise Line. And so what I'm saying is that who got him locked up? Another African American that we all so-called hear about every month, every February, W.E.B. Du Bois, etc. You see, they actually made a case on this man. They actually got this man locked up for mail fraud. You see what I'm saying? They actually trumped up charges on this man. Other black people. So when you start to educate yourself and when you start to get conscious and when you start to move out of that Negro box that they had put you in, you know, and you start to become a free human being, a member of the diaspora, then they're going to come for you the same way. They're going to come for you the same exact way. But what you have to do is know what you're doing it for, know the reasons why you're doing it. And if you really want slavery to end, then you have to join. You have to get out that Negro box, that African American box, that Latin American box, that Caribbean box, that diaspora, wherever you are in the diaspora. If you're not on the continent, even if you're on the continent, you got to get out of that nationalism that you're learning about. Them songs and the national anthems that you learn about. Those are put in place by the Queen and colonial masters. Why you think it's a country in the middle of every other country? Because they use those little small countries to destabilize the region as a whole, where you can never have unity. So if you go back and look at the colonial playbook, you know, we have to learn from it too. We can't just get mad and say, oh, someone else is trying to use the colonial playbook. You know, we have to learn from the colonial playbook too, and we cannot let history repeat itself. So if you're here in America and you got a W.E.B. Du Bois mindset, you know, he died in Ghana. He got his mind right before his dying day. But the strength, when he had the potency in his life, he used that to work one side for black people and the other side for white supremacy. You see? And you got people who hate on Marcus Garvey, say he partnered with the KKK. Listen, in business, when you're a businessman, right, you don't have fear sitting down with your enemy to negotiate. When you a slave, you can't imagine negotiating with your enemy because he's always going to get out on you. He's always going to abuse you and look at you like a slave because you a slave, right? So when you become a free person, you should have no fear in negotiating with another free man or